There was a report out via Axios this past weekend on Saturday it hit, and the headline was, Tucker Carlson ready to torch Fox News. Tucker Carlson is preparing to unleash allies to attack Fox News, in an effort to bully the network into letting him work for or start a right-wing rival. Sources close to Tucker tell Axios. Brian Friedman, this is the guy who represents me as well, the high-powered Hollywood lawyer Carlson retained for the contract dispute, told Axios, quote, the idea that anyone's going to silence Tucker and prevent him from speaking to his audience is beyond preposterous. They go on to say that Axios has learned Tucker is plotting a media empire of his own, but he needs Fox to let him out of his contract, which expires in January 2025, post the election, okay? After the presidential election, we're told Carlson has been contacted by outlets, including the right-wing Rumble and Newsmax, that offered to pay him more than his Fox contract, which the Wall Street Journal reported was around $20 million a year. They should know they're owned by the same people that the Fox News channel is owned by. They go on to say Carlson and Elon Musk had a conversation about working together, but did not discuss specifics. Carlson confidants say he's also contemplating building a direct-to-consumer media outlet where his millions of fans could pay to watch him. The ousted host knows where a lot of bodies are buried and is ready to start drawing a map, said a Carlson source. Carlson allies with big platforms are prepared to attack Fox for trying to keep them on the shelf. Bare-knuckled brawlers from Trump world are standing by. They're coming to Tucker and saying, do you want me to hit Fox? A close Carlson friend said, he's been saying, no, I want to get this done quiet and clean. Now we're going from peacetime to DEFCON 1, the friend added. His team is preparing for war. He wants his freedom. Here's what I can tell you. The Carlson team believes Fox News is not negotiating in good faith. And they are counting on allies to go out there and send a message to Fox News, to turn off the dial at 8 p.m., to turn off the dial period on Fox News. The word boycott is being used. It's already happening, at least at 8, and to a lesser extent throughout the prime time of Fox News. The ratings continue to be in the toilet, as we've been bringing to you. I'll pull them up, just the latest, because when we were on the air on Friday, we didn't have Thursday's ratings yet. They come out late in the afternoon. At 8 p.m., they got a 181 in the demo. Good God. That's more than a 50% drop from Tucker's in his last week on air. 181. I mean, honestly, I've been in the primetime at Fox. That's disgusting. It's a terrible, terrible number. There's no way of spinning it otherwise. It, of course, sets up the rest of the primetime to fail. 9 p.m. didn't get a lot more. They got 8,000 more than that in the demo, 189. And the 10 p.m., well, they lost to MSNBC. Okay, they lost. That's not what you want, and that's really what will cause panic. Ingram got 156 in the demo. She lost in the demo and the overall as well. That's what causes a panic inside Fox News. If they lose a month to MSNBC, heads are going to roll over there. They're going to have to do something. They'll have to surrender somehow. They got to stop the bleeding. They may be talking tough right now with Tucker. Here's what they want to do. They have canceled his show, but they haven't fired him, so they still have him under their control, under their thumb. And they want Tucker to sit there on his couch and just cash his Fox checks and basically be immobilized by Fox News. Be rendered mute, where he can't say anything between now and January 2025. Some of his fans might enjoy Tucker's insights on things like the DeSantis announcement that's undoubtedly coming any day now. Who's going to be the actual nominee for the Republican Party? What's happening on the Dem side as Joe Biden has some 30% of his party rooting for somebody else? What happens during the presidential debates? What about the messaging at the conventions? What's going to happen when they get out there and start slinging muds via ads? You might like to see Tucker's thoughts on that. What about the war in Ukraine, which has very few dissenting voices like Tucker's out there? Is that one of the reasons he was silenced? We know the Murdochs talked to Zelensky weeks before Tucker was axed. They said that Tucker's name did not come up. But what is the reason? We're 2 weeks later now. We still don't know. He still doesn't know. His lawyers don't know. No one will tell them. He's been completely silenced. His show has been canceled. No one will tell him why. And even Fox News does not appear to be arguing that there was cause for the termination. Notwithstanding all the leaks you see in the papers, they're not arguing cause because Fox News hasn't fired him and is still paying him his salary. If they had cause to fire him, They'd cancel the show. They'd fire Tucker. They would not pay him the money, and they could keep him silent. That's like all the best of the worlds. But they didn't do that. Even they know they didn't have cause, notwithstanding the bullshit leaks you're reading about, none of which makes Tucker look bad anyway. So they're really hoping that Tucker will either just abide by it to get his $30 million or that he'll breach. And then they don't have to pay him anything and they'll take him to court to try to silence him. And that's what I think Tucker should do. Tucker should breach. He should come out. He should talk. He should start a rival news network. He should quit. He should forfeit the money. He'll make more money anyway, whether it's Rumble, Newsmax, Patrick Bet-David's organization, launching his own situation, any of it. He should breach and forfeit the money. And then let Fox News take him to court. And the sole issue will be whether they have the right to silence him for the entire election season. The guy who served them loyally for a decade. The guy who kept them number one in the 8 p.m. time slot after losing Bill O'Reilly through the Trump era, despite enormous attacks on him by the New York Times and everyone on the left. That guy. Whether the thanks for that should be, F you, you're getting no money, you're fired, not for cause, and you must be silent. That's an F you to his fans. That's what that is. That's an F you to his fans. And what Tucker seems to be asking for, you read the Axios report, is for his fans to help him out right now and increase the pressure on Fox News so that they just let him out. Well, you fired him. Let him go. Such a threat? You that scared? Are you that terrified you can't replace your numbers at 8? Why? Did fine after Bill left, thanks to Tucker. You don't have somebody else you believe in? You can put points on the board? You're that scared? This is what's going on. So unless Tucker's fans do a hard pass on the 8 and the entire primetime and perhaps the channel, they're not going to bend the knee. Fox News will continue to torture the guy and make him sit on the sidelines. Yes, I understand it's not torture to pay him $30 million, but he doesn't want the money. As you may know, Tucker's independently wealthy anyway. He wants to get out there and do the news. He was doing the news. He did nothing wrong. There's no cause for termination. He just wants to keep using his voice for you, the audience Fox News fostered a relationship with for him, right? So the whole thing is grossly unfair. Now, in the context of all this, we get a piece from Rolling Stone. And the headline there is, inside the death match that helped doom Tucker Carlson at Fox. Now, their theory is that back in 2020, Tucker tried to get my old pal, Irena Briganti, the head of the Fox PR department, fired. And that this was, quote, a clear suicide mission, citing one source of Fox News, that Irena proved too powerful. They say he attempted to get her fired, that he attempted to force her out. He made his case to Fox News CEO Suzanne Scott, Fox Chief Legal Officer Viet Din, Murdoch family heir Lachlan Murdoch, and even personalities such as Sean Hannity. In pleading his case, Carlson argued Briganti spent too much time badgering on-air talent, yes, and the channel's personnel, that she was generally incompetent and mean-spirited. Okay, that's understating it. And that she regularly engaged in dirty tricks against him and other hosts and contributors when her job was ostensibly to protect them. Yes, that's all true. I lived that firsthand. The only reason I'm able to tell you any of this is because I refused to sign a non-disclosure when I left Fox, though, trust me, they tried. I said, you're offering me all this money to renew. I've chosen to do something else. Why would I sign a non-disclosure? I don't need to. Why should I? And they got very upset, and they withheld a couple months of my salary, even though they owed it to me. Yeah, that's what they did, just to try to force me to sign it. Well, I didn't, and I too had to forfeit pay. It was absolutely absurd. These guys are bullies. They're bullies. And all the talent at Fox News that's listening right now, who are, I guarantee you, more on my side than they are on Fox's side. They're 100% with me on Irena Briganti. Trust me. You could be next. I left on the best of terms. These guys were down on one knee with a bouquet of roses begging me to stay. I left with a handshake and a wish of goodwill. And then they did this stuff to me, withholding the salary, trying to strong-arm me into signing a non-disclosure, and then bit by bit, attacking me day after day after day when I was on the air at NBC. P.S. They weren't the only ones. That's all I'm legally permitted to say. That's them. So now, here they are with Fox, with Tucker, and the piece goes on to say that what might have been behind his ultimate firing was this woman, Irena. That one source with knowledge of the matter described the Carlson-Briganti feud as an intra-network death match. They say despite Carlson's high ratings, influence on Republican political circles, and hyper-devoted fan base, he lacked the juice to oust Briganti. Her ties to other top executives were too tight for Carlson to overcome. In some cases, executives laughed off Carlson's attempt to get her fired, assuring him and others that Briganti was not going anywhere anytime soon. I don't know whether that's true. I actually don't know whether that's true, whether they thought this is a laughing matter. Because I'll tell you something else that I've never reported before. When I was deciding whether to stay or leave Fox News, the Murdochs offered to fire Irena Briganti to keep me. That happened at the apartment of Rupert Murdoch. I was there with my husband, Doug. And they understood that she had been so attacking me and the other women of Fox News who did not back Roger Ailes in the sexual harassment scandal that we might have reached a point where she had to go. If that's what it was going to take, they were prepared to fire her. And I said to them, I'm not in the business of having people fired. And I meant that. I had her neck on a chopping block and I refused to swing the axe. I meant that. You know what? It was a mistake because she went on to continue her reign of terror at Fox News. Ask any of the talent there, off the record reporters, go ask any of the talent how they feel about this woman and whether she's made their working situations more bearable, more pleasant, more palatable, more of a non-hostile place to work. Okay? So I believe they would fire Irena Briganti, but the problem is now she's got stuff on him. I don't know what she's amassed. I don't know what she's threatening. And I don't know whether she's behind all these leaks. It's just a theory. I just know she's capable of it. She's done it to me repeatedly. She's done it to others repeatedly. Why wouldn't she do it to Tucker? Look, you did the tough thing during COVID. You paid your people and pulled your business through the pandemic. And now doing the tough thing could qualify you for up to $26,000 per employee at covidtaxrelief.org. Government funds are available to reward companies with 2 or more employees who stayed open during COVID. This is not a loan, and you don't have to pay it back. The program's complicated, but no one knows more about it than the CPAs and tax pros at covidtaxrelief.org. You pay nothing up front. They do all the work and share a percentage of the cash they get you. Businesses of all types, including nonprofits and churches, can qualify, including those who took PPP loans, even if you had increases in sales. You did the tough thing for your employees during COVID. Let covidtaxrelief.org help get you up to $26,000 per employee. Visit covidtaxrelief.org. 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 Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.